How's it going, guys? Shizukat's here. Before we get into today's video, I want to tell you guys a story. You know that boomer saying, back in my day? This is going to be one of those stories. Back when JP servers first launched, we didn't have this, or this, or this, or even this. EXP was a lot harder to come by, considering we didn't have any of those guaranteed Kate spawns, nor did we have the ads that give even more EXP via the Kates and experience nuts. Speaking of nuts, not only did we not have the nut farm available, the Nameless Town wasn't even added into the game until December 2020, 2 months after the game's release. So why am I telling you all this? And what does this have to do with a video about hunts and class ups? Well, a lot of you English players are absolutely zooming through the current available content. So much so that I'm commonly seeing players on my Discord posting screenshots of themselves at chapters 5, 6, and 7, and then getting locked out of progression due to only having 3.5 star characters. And I agree, this can be frustrating, but I honestly don't think the game was meant to be played as quickly as some of the player base is going right now. Just to put things into perspective, let's take a quick look at my progress in the Japanese version and how long that took. Keep in mind, I was playing the game a fair bit every day when the game first came out. So the release date was October 28th. By November 5th, more than a week later, I finished the last of the 3 master arcs. November 10th, another 5 days later, I finally reached the point where my 3.5 stars had reached the level cap. At the time, I had 5 3.5 star characters on my team. On November 13th, a few days later, I performed my first class up using a silver holy mark. On December 4th, an entire 3 weeks after that, I hit the 5th and final class up I needed to make my entire team full 4 stars. As you can see, this entire process of getting all my 4-star characters up to speed took quite a while, and can be a big and frustrating obstacle, especially for players who marathoned their way up to level 50 or level 60 content within the first few days of the English server being out. Now, I'd also like to add that I do feel I'm partly to blame for not seeing this coming and not putting more emphasis on using full 4-star units over 3.5 stars. In a way, it's also just a side effect of me not having a 3.5 star character for basically a year at this point. So I hope you guys will forgive me in that respect. Now, I'm sure some of you want me to just stop rambling and get to the point. How do you even class up at all? And to answer that question, we need to talk about one of the main topics of this video, hunts. Hunts are a feature available starting in Master of All Chapter 1. That means that in order to access the hunts, you must clear all chapters in Master of Wealth, Master of Power, and Master of Fame. This means defeating Herminia, Tytos, and Auguste in each of their boss fights. After that, you gain access to the 4th town Rippletide, where Tressa is from. From Rippletide, you must play the Epilogue chapter, and after clearing that, your next goal is Master of All Chapter 1 in the city of Kragspear. Upon entering Kragspear and walking past the inn, you'll meet an NPC who unlocks hunts for you. The hunts themselves are dungeons where you enter, fight a series of elite enemies, and walk away with a bunch of loot, EXP, and most importantly, personal guide stones that can be used to increase the level caps of your characters. The guide stones are only awarded to the units that you bring to the hunt itself, so naturally you'd want to try to bring characters whose level caps you're actively looking to increase, right? Well, there is another condition that affects which units you should or shouldn't bring to hunts, which we'll address in a bit. 5-star units will walk away from each hunt with 5 gold guidestones, 4-star units get 10 silver guidestones, and 3-star units get 20 bronze guidestones. Additionally, when a new character comes out or characters are being featured on a rerun banner, they will usually get a flat bonus of plus 10 guidestones for every hunt you bring them on. You can see if there's a bonus going on due to the yellow symbol that appears over the hunt option, and you can click the button in the bottom left corner of the hunt menu to see which units are being offered a bonus. You get 1 hunt ticket for free every day upon your daily reset, but you may buy up to 5 more every day using rubies if you want, assuming you've emptied out your stock of tickets beforehand. Let's go into some of the finer details of hunts. Once you enter, you cannot change skills on your characters, nor can you change their equipment. Whatever you enter with, you are using for the entirety of that hunt. There will be several elite enemies scattered around the dungeon, and there are no random encounters, only the elites. Defeating each of these elite enemies gives access to the treasure chest behind them, as well as a good chunk of EXP. One elite enemy per hunt is designated as the boss enemy, and you can tell which one because they have a healing torch in front of them and they're not guarding a treasure chest. This is the enemy you will want to kill last, as defeating them ends the hunt entirely, even if you still had enemies that you hadn't beaten yet. When clearing a hunt, apart from the guide stones that you get on your characters, you also get some extra rewards as shown on the right in this screenshot. These rewards can be accessories or holy marks used for class ups. And yes, I know they're called sacred seals in English, it's fine, you guys get what I mean. In the accessories department, single stat accessories are the common drop, while elemental resistance accessories are rare. In terms of holy marks, bronze marks are the most common, followed by silver marks, which are class specific and somewhat rare, and gold marks, also class specific, are the rarest. Silver marks are used to class up 3.5 star characters to 4 star, while gold marks are used to class up 4.5 star to 5. Every hunt is associated with one of the 3 influences, which is indicated in the hunt selection screen. The number of rewards you get at the end of a hunt is based on the influence sum of the party you brought to the hunt. If the total influence is below 300 points, you will only get 1 reward. However, if your team's influence exceeds 300 or even 500, you can get 2 or even 3 rewards at the end of a hunt. This effectively triples your chance to get rare drops like the silver and gold holy marks, and thus should be prioritized when choosing which hunt to go on. The higher level hunts do give more EXP and better EXP nuts, but that's a lower priority in my opinion compared to potentially tripling the chance of hitting those holy marks for your class ups. Additionally, while earlier in the video I did say that you should bring along units whose level caps you actively want to increase, this influence reward mechanic should take even greater precedence in my opinion. One more thing to look at is the recommended classes list that you see in the hunt selection screen. Now normally you just think, okay, these are the classes that I should bring if I want to attack enemy weaknesses. And while that is correct, these recommended classes are also indicators of which holy marks can drop from each hunt. For example, the first available hunt in the game, the Great Snow Lizard, has the recommended weapons Sword, Axe, Tome, and Fan. This means that this hunt will only ever drop silver and gold holy marks for the Warrior, Apothecary, Scholar, and Dancer classes. On the other hand, if we look at the third available hunt, the Great Grotto Frog, we'll instead find that the recommended classes, and thus the possible holy mark drops, are Thief, Cleric, Hunter, and Merchant. These 2 factors, which hunt drops which class, and how much influence can I accumulate, should be the main 2 things that you should think about when considering which hunt you want to go on. Don't worry about the higher level ones giving you the better EXP. EXP can be farmed elsewhere as much as you want, but hunts, and thus the chance at the holy marks that you need for your class ups, are a once a day thing. One last detail about hunts is Easy Hunt, which is a function unlocked for each hunt dungeon individually after you complete it for the first time. This allows you to skip the entire process of actually fighting the enemies and simply walk away with the rewards. This has both downsides and upsides. The downside is that it does not count towards specific achievements that require killing the boss creature of the hunt, because you didn't actually fight anything. The upside, which is very important considering everything we just talked about, is that it allows you to bring a party of units that aren't adequately leveled up to actually fight proficiently in the hunt, but has enough total influence to allow you to get 3 reward chests at the end of the hunt. With how high priority getting class ups is for a lot of players right now, I highly recommend utilizing this Easy Hunt function as a way to jam as much influence as possible and get those extra reward chests. Now let's talk about the process of class up, since a good number of you guys still don't quite have a grasp on how it works. Class up is the process that upgrades your 3.5 star or 4.5 star character to a full 4 or 5. It can be done in one of 2 ways. The first is by pulling the full version as a dupe in gacha rolls, at which point your character just gets the class up for free. Note that I said you have to pull the full version. If you pull another 3.5 or 4.5 star copy, you will not get the class up, but you still get the guide stones and the awakening stone. Obviously, this is completely RNG and realistically shouldn't be relied on as a way to get a class up, especially not for 5 stars. The other method for classing up is by using holy marks. A 3.5 star unit is classed up by using 1 silver holy mark of the appropriate class, plus 2 bronze holy marks and 10 ordinary bronze marks. A 4.5 star unit is classed up by using 1 gold holy mark of the appropriate class, 10 bronze holy marks, and 50 basic bronze marks. In order to perform the class up itself, you go to your character's skill board menu and click on their final board, which is locked. The game will then prompt you to perform the class up if you have all the necessary items. When you perform a class up, your character's level cap will increase by 20, so if you already had any increases to their level cap prior to the class up, they will keep those increases afterwards. For example, a 3.5 star unit with a level cap of 45 due to having the level cap increased by 5, will end with a level cap of 65. At this point, some of you are probably thinking to yourself, so I have no idea when I'll be able to class up my characters then, it's basically all up to RNG. Well, no. There are a few ways that you can guarantee getting class up materials for your characters, so let's take a look at those. The first way, which is always available, is the exchange, where you can buy holy marks using either bronze or silver guidestone shards. With bronze guidestone shards, you can buy a basic bronze mark for 300, a bronze holy mark for 1500, or a silver holy mark for 15k. With silver guidestone shards, you can buy a silver holy mark for 5k, or a gold holy mark for 30k. And yes, while 30k is a rather huge investment, being the equivalent of 6,000 guidestones, it's pretty much the best possible use of your silver guidestone shards overall. Some players have tried putting an entire team of 4 stars in their hunts just to farm up silver guidestones and then break them into shards, but I would highly recommend against doing this, as this not only blocks the growth of your 4-star units, but also your 5-star units as well, since you're not bringing them to hunts. If anything, just stock up shards over time and eventually you will hit the point where you can trade them in for a gold holy mark. I would also normally recommend not buying any of the bronze or silver holy marks in the exchange, as eventually you will just be swimming in them with no way to use them. But if you're really itching to get that class up to progress in the early game, maybe it's a worthwhile investment. That being said, I advocate for patience on this channel and would personally wait to hit them on drops instead. The other ways you can get gold holy marks guaranteed is through special promotion gachas. I'm not sure if or when these will pop up in English, but they've shown up in JP a few times at this point. Certain special gachas will offer gold holy marks as part of their exchange pools. One example from JP was a job banner where a certain job was at a higher rate than the others, and they offered a gold holy mark of that job in the exchange for 100 rolls worth of tokens. Another example from JP was a special step up that I believe has only appeared twice at the time of this recording, and it was pretty late into the game's lifespan, so I wouldn't expect it to necessarily appear soon in English. It had 3 steps. The first one was free, the second one was 200 rubies, and the third was 300. This meant that you got 3 10 rolls for just 500 rubies instead of the normal 900, an absolute steal. But you could also trade in 30 rolls worth of tokens in the exchange for one of any gold holy mark of your choosing. If that wasn't amazing enough already, you could do this step-up banner up to 3 times, yielding 2,700 rubies worth of rolls for just 1,500 on top of 3 gold holy marks of your choosing, and this entire process could be done with free rubies. While it would be really nice for them to release this kind of banner earlier into English lifespan, I also want them to give you guys enough time to save up for units that you might want to spark before introducing these really high value step-ups. One last way we could get gold holy marks in JP at the time of this recording is the job towers, which are challenge modes basically that only allow the use of one class. That is, the entire team must be the same class. There are different towers for different jobs, and long story short, once a month you can redeem for a gold holy mark of that job, which is why I have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 9 warrior marks. Okay, that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to talk about today concerning hunts and class ups. I know it can be frustrating to get time gated a bit, but I know you guys can get through it. Remember, this game is a marathon, not a sprint. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned something new, but if you still have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. The next couple of videos I want to put up are my buff and debuff guide as well as my Lynette guide, so stay tuned for those. Until next time, this has been Shizukats. See ya!